Welcome to Bluff City Bets, a Bluff City media podcast. Join Daniel Greer and Chase Bobbitt as they give their plays of the day and strategies for success as a sports bettor. Now, let's get to the show.
All right, we are Bluff City Bets, and we're here to make you just a little bit smarter and make your cash go a little bit farther. I am your host, Daniel Greer, and with me, as always, is my guy, Chase Bobbitt. What's up, man?
What's up? How you doing tonight?
I'm good. It is it's been a fun week for betting, personally, for me. I've had my ups, my downs, but mainly it has been up, so I can't complain. It's been a good week.
It's been a good de-stressing period today, I guess you could say. Not a lot going on. No NBA at all tonight. One NHL game versus MLB, so it's been nice to kind of not be sweating out too many bets on my end right now.
Yeah, I'm always sweating. I'm always playing something. I've been doing these stupid baseball one-hit bets. They've been pretty profitable for me. I've stuck to my Rangers. If you're in the Discord channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. My Rangers 1+ hit bet has been Simeon, Seager, and Lowe, and I think I literally have hit it majority of the time I played it. I think I played it 4 or 5 days in a row. I probably hit 4 of the 5. I think they missed it one time, and it's always plus money. It's like plus 160. So it's been a good profitable bet for me. Speaking of the Discord, if you are a person that enjoys betting and enjoys anything talking about betting, join the community over here at Bluff City Media, Bluff City Bets. What we do is pretty much just kind of chat it up a little bit within the Discord channel. We'll give you some official plays. And then during a big game like an NBA Finals coming up, we'll be in there for sure talking about that. But if you go ahead and sign up now, you just put in BC. Is it BC Bets? BCM Bets. BCM Bets. I get it wrong every time. BCM Bets, and we'll give you a month free to try it out on us. And if you like it, stick around. It's only $5 a month. But we're going to go ahead and get into the stuff we have today. We're going to take you around the league, explain to you a little bit about the storylines that we're watching, show you a little bit about our bad beats or big cash, what to play, and then give you our official plays. We're going to get out of here. We're going to tease it a little bit on Chase's. If you're listening to this early on, the game that he is playing starts early on Thursday. So we're going to try to get this podcast out early Thursday so you have time to listen. But we'll also be getting it out on the Twitter. So all in the Twitterverse, you'll have it. That way it'll help you kind of get that. But that's Chase's big play, and he really likes it. So we want to make sure we get it out to everybody. But Chase, let's go ahead and go around the league. Anything you're watching or looking for this week?
I mean, the main thing is, and we talked about this before we started recording, is this Boston-Miami series and just the way that the lines have been and the way that the lines have continued to move, especially now if you're looking at the series winner, you're looking at a team that was down 3-0, and even when they were down 3-0, they were maybe plus 500 to win the series, plus, somewhere in that range. It wasn't what you would normally see for a team that's down 3-0, and then now down 3-1. They're only plus 210 to win the series, which, and you said it exactly how I believe it is. It's unbettable, really. For you're not getting value either way. You're betting on a team to win 3 games in a row against Miami, who has shown consistently throughout this playoffs that eventually they'll figure it out, or Boston, who's just been wildly inconsistent essentially since the start of the playoffs, and probably the most untrustworthy coach in the league right now. I think he's being carried by his talent, and even with that, I mean, the more I watch this, the more I still believe in Jason Tatum, but Jaylen Brown just doesn't really do it for me. The more I watch him, he just seems he's wildly inconsistent, and just the way that I just don't think him and we talked about this, I think episode 1, how those two kind of fit together in the narrative, because we were talking 2 weeks ago when they were down 3-2 to the 76ers. Obviously, if they win this game in Boston, which the books, that's another thing, think they're going to do. They're actually -8 right now at home, which just blows my mind. And I get it. They'll probably end up covering just with the way that things work. Usually, I've always gone under the assumption that if you see a line that's too good to be true in terms of like Miami +8 or just one that kind of just makes no sense, it's probably for a reason. But I just couldn't get myself to bet Boston -8. I know it's in Boston, but they dropped the first 2 games in Boston, and I wouldn't bet against Jimmy Butler in a closeout like that again.
Any chance that you would give the Celtics of coming back? Like, that's huge. It's a 3-0, never been done. Any chance you'd give them?
If you just on paper, if you would have told me if I didn't watch the Celtics all year or all playoffs, I guess certain times in the playoffs they've looked good, but especially this series, and just looking at Miami's roster, I still have a bit of hope that Boston could be the first team to do this. I truly do. These undrafted, and apparently undrafted with Miami and just these guys in general really doesn't matter. These are just good basketball players.
Yeah.
But I do think that eventually talent finds a way to figure itself out as the series progresses. And I really just think that I'm going to assume Boston's winning game 5. It's all coming down to game 6 at that point, because if Miami blows game 6, I don't think they have any chance to win game 7 in Boston. I bet you that line would probably be 9-10. So if it wasn't plus 210, if it was plus 500, plus 600, I would definitely take a swing at it.
Yeah.
But I just, in a betting landscape, I don't think it's worth the price. But if any team were to do it against a team like Miami, who's been good, but you still have to look at the roster and think it really is Jimmy Butler against the world. Bam has been better, but he still is inconsistent. I think you saw that last game. I don't know what he finished with, but he sometimes just won't get rebounds. Right. So yeah, it's a weird one. I believe in them probably more than I believed in a lot of teams down 3-0 when it first started, but I still wouldn't, just from a betting perspective, put my money on that.
Yeah, it's hard to bet that. I think as you were talking about, like the lines being unbettable, that is just the truth. I think everywhere on the lines are unbettable, except for the player props. We'll get to that. I will definitely have a player prop for the Thursday night game. That'll be my official play, and so we'll obviously have that out on Twitter at some point. It won't be early on the day because we want to give people that do listen to this a chance. People in our Discord chance to have the first dibs at it. But I've already hit it myself, and so I'm going to share that with you on the podcast tonight. But things I'm looking for with baseball, and I think that's the biggest thing that kind of is always continuing right now, is what I've played a lot is the 1+ hitter deal. So I know I just talked about that. But what I've always looked for is pitchers that just aren't good. And then I look at teams that hit well. And I know that makes just stupid common sense. Yes. But I'm looking at, let's go to I believe it's a Friday game. Yes, the Friday game, the White Sox and the Detroit Tigers. And the reason I'm having to do this, for the simple fact is I can't give you the play that's tomorrow, probably. Okay. Because people might not hear it. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a Friday game to target. Lance Lynn, and then who's Jay Wentz? Is it Joey? Yeah, Joey Wentz. They're the pitchers. They have both given up nearly 10 more hits than innings pitched on the year, and they're at over one's at 38 innings pitched. He's given up 49 hits. The other's at 57 innings pitched. He's given up 65 hits. What that means to me is they're roughly, on average, giving up a little over a hit an inning. Okay, if they're throwing 5, 6, they're probably going to give up at least 5 or 6 hits. That's all I need is to get my guys to the lineup, get them a couple hits, get into the bullpen, and then you get even more opportunities there. So that's what I look at. And so when I look at a game to target, I'm looking at a game like the White Sox and the Detroit Tigers. I'm going to look and find out exactly who the best hitters are, the hottest hitters, and I'm going to go with that. And more than likely, I always go if it is a good player that's on the away team and he's in the top 3 of the order, the higher chances and the higher likelihood that he gets a 5th at bat helps your odds even better. So if you are playing that, little teaching moment, the away team, if you're ever betting a total on the team totals, try to go with the away team because they're going to get that 9th inning bat no matter what. The problem is most of the time it's always the home team that plays better at home in a sense. So that's one game I'm looking at. Another series I'm looking at is the Dodgers and the Tampa Bay Rays. I know you like the Rays, right? Or you
not after that game yesterday, 20-1. I don't watch baseball, and I even knew that was something crazy. I had to double check when I checked that score.
Yeah, Vlad hit a grand slam off of a position player, but that's going to be a great series. And the reason I say that is because the Dodgers are hurting on their pitching right now. They just got Tony Gonsolin back. And so he is back for them. He pitched tonight against the Braves as we're recording this on a Wednesday night. and then they walked it off late in that game. But the Dodgers are hurting on their pitching, and the Rays are okay. They've kind of slowed down a little bit, but you're talking about two offenses that are really, really good. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring in both of in that entire series. So that's something to watch for that one. So that's what I have around the league in general. We can get to bad beats or big cash unless you got something else here.
No, I would say the only other thing going back to the NBA and looking at, and we talked about just the NBA board in general right now, just kind of is no value in anything I'm looking at. Nuggets are minus 210 to win the NBA Finals. I think they beat Miami, but I would never take a future at that. You can bet them game one for probably better odds than that. So that was just one thing. I think if Miami, assuming Miami finishes it off, I would look at a series spread with the Nuggets minus 1.5, because I do think that the Nuggets would take care of Miami in 5 or 6. But that's looking ahead. We'll be able to talk about that more when we figure out who wins the Eastern Conference. But I do think that that's something. And then Jokic averages a triple-double in the series is minus 120 currently, which I do like. That's like a special offer by FanDuel. I don't know about the other books if they have that, but he's averaging a triple-double for the playoffs so far. So I felt like at minus 120 right now, a guy to get his averages could be good value. And who knows if that's going to move when they actually find out who their opponent is. So that's something to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. All right, let's keep it moving. We'll go into bad beats and big cash. Any bad beats you got this week?
Honestly, no. It's for the first time in a long time for myself. I've been, and I don't know technicalities if this is not smart. I shouldn't be doing it as like, if you're betting by the book per se. I've honestly just been finding lines that I like, buying them down to like minus 200 and parlaying two of them together to get like plus 100, minus 110 odds. It's not the best probably strategy number wise, and it's strategically, but it's been working recently. So that's kind of how I've been playing it, just because I've been cold. But I did see one online on Instagram. It was a guy who put a plus, I got to read this right, plus 286,000 odd 3-leg future parlay. It was the Kansas City Chiefs, the UConn men's basketball team, and the Denver Nuggets to win the championship. He cashed out. He put $25 on it, so I don't know what the math is there, but he put $25 on it, cashed it out after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl for $122. And now, obviously, UConn ended up winning it, and Denver's in the final. So that was one that just blew my mind. Seeing that, I felt bad for the guy. But I guess he got, what's that, 400% on his investment?
Yeah,
so you look at it like that, but that must be a tough one for him.
Yep. No, I agree. That's tough. I'm looking at a 22-legger. It was a plus 20,851. It hit on some big stuff. The thing it missed on was Bam over 13.5 points. I don't know if you play the Prize Picks or not. I did see somebody put out that the Taco Tuesday was Bam over. I think it was over 14.5 points or whatever. I don't know, whatever it is.
That always seems to happen. It's fishy how that works.
Yeah, and then it somehow hit under. This wasn't his Bam over 13.5 points. Wasn't his highest odds, but it was probably in the middle. And he lost that on he needed 4 more points. I think one I saw, I had and this will go over to my big cash. I had a great last couple of NBA plays. I think I was 11-2 during a whatever day that was the last game. I guess it was a Tuesday. And so I had a really great day. Everything was going good. But I was one more point away from Derek White to really cash another like $500. I was rolling. Everything was hitting. And then all of a sudden Derek White was just like, I think he had one more point and he would have cashed for me big time just off of a parlay I put together with him and Caleb Martin. So that would have been huge for me for sure.
Caleb Martin and was Vincent. They've both been, especially in our Discord, they've kind of been the talk of the Discord recently, just cashing especially Martin. The 15 plus he had, I think, was a game 3, maybe. I think game 3. Those have just been money consistently with those Miami role players.
Yeah, it has. Any big cashes you've had?
I've with these buying downs, I've also increased my units a decent amount. So that's kind of been where I've gotten the big cash from. I had the Celtics yesterday when they broke up. They're up 8 in the second quarter or third quarter, late in the third quarter. It was minus 275. Parlayed that with I've been doing double chances in soccer, which essentially is because you obviously have the win, the loss, or the tie. You're taking 2 of those 3. So I took the LA Galaxy to either tie or beat LAFC. Once I saw the lineup, it's like the second. So you have the MLS and the American soccer, and then you have a second competition called the US Open Cup, which is like the top division along with the second division in US professional soccer. So they combine the two in like a single elimination tournament. And a lot of time these teams will use that as a chance to play their young kids, like developing players. They won't like take it too serious. So I saw the lineup and saw that LA Galaxy has been horrible all year. So they played all their good guys while LAFC played their subs essentially. So I saw that right before it ended. It ended up being plus 101, but it was 300 on that. Just I was very confident in it. And then I bought, of course, I saw Denver. I love Denver in game 4. I knew they were going to sweep, but it was in a bad spot. I was like, I need to make sure this cashes. So I bought Denver up to plus 9.5 for minus 250, which at halftime they were down a decent amount. And I thought they were going to get just blown out just with all the momentum that LA had. So I bought Denver to plus 9.5, and then I bought the Panthers to plus 1.5 against the Hurricanes.
God,
that was minus 110. Again, a much bigger unit than I normally would put. So those were 2 good ones. I don't recommend doing this strategy. I need to stop doing this strategy, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess, until otherwise.
I like it. I have been on the Caleb Martin train as well, and so I've been putting much bigger units on
15 plus you guys called out in the Discord. I missed, and I was kicking myself after the fact. It seemed too good to be true, and it wasn't.
Yeah, we've hit on that. We've hit on. I know it was. I can't remember what it was this last game, but it was Derek White plus 150 for 3-pointers, and now it's down to a plus 125. I haven't seen if Caleb Martin is actually for 3-pointers yet because he's at minus 148 for over 1.5. So I'm not sure if that number has been out there yet. But one segment we're going to look at. Let's go ahead and go to the next segment now. And that's going to be where we spend majority of our time. It's going to be what to play. And so a new segment today, I want to kind of, not that I guess a new segment, but a new style and how we're going to try to do this a little bit. It's going to introduce props.cash. If you, for some reason, don't know anything about props.cash, you will have a chance to actually see that today. We're going to go through some of the numbers and kind of discuss a lot of the actual NBA game because I think that's going to be very important. And that's something kind of to watch on. But before we get there, I'm going to ask you a question. Where is my numbers? There they are. All right. So the leader of the series as of right now for 3-pointers is Derek White and Caleb Martin. They both have 12 3-pointers each.
Okay.
All right. And let's go ahead and go over to props.cash now. All right. If you're looking at this, so you want to go down to who was I just talking about? Derek White. So Derek White, 3-pointers. This is just in the last 5 games, right? Okay. And I have it set to where you can go to playoffs only. And so you can change it to the full either way. I'm still in the last. You can see all those. That line right there is the 2.5. If you see it green, he goes over. Let's just go down to the last 5 games. I want to mainly pay attention to this series. So if you want to break it down any other way, you can. So Derek White, he's hitting 3-pointers every game. I've seen this number at plus 125. Maybe it's falling down to 120. But the series in general, it could end tomorrow, or I guess whenever you're hearing this, it could end on Thursday. They could win, and they end up having another game. It could go to 7 games. We don't know. But the person to actually lead this series in 3-pointers, Derek White is a plus 200 on FanDuel. All right. Caleb Martin, who now he has 12 as well. We can look at Caleb Martin as well. He's kind of been more sporadic, but really it's just this 4 and 2. For the most part, it's been pretty consistent as well, just not as the consistency as Derek White. But Caleb Martin on DraftKings is a plus 450. So if he goes off for 4, Miami Heat win. He cashes. Derek White only goes for 3. You're talking about him bringing home a plus 450. I don't know about you, but I like those odds. What say you?
Yeah, I think if you think Miami is going to close it out sooner rather than later, I definitely think there's great value in that Martin plus 450 you said it was.
Yeah.
I think that as the series progresses, for the series to progress, and we saw this in game 4, Boston's going to live or die by the 3. So if the series gets gets stretched out, I think a Boston guy is going to hit it. I don't know what Tatum's at currently for makes in the series, but if we want to look at that,
yep. There's Tatum right there. He has 9, so
okay,
he's
3 off.
So he's 3 behind.
And with him, I mean, if you think it's going to go 7, I don't know what I bet you it's a massive line right now for Tatum to lead the series. I would assume
plus 320 on FanDuel.
Not that big.
That's the thing.
I'd go White then. In that situation, I'd go White. I don't think Tatum catches it. I was thinking that if they go deep, you see Tatum kind of go through these spurts where he hits a bunch of threes. You see that Philadelphia last game right there, on the left. But I like if you think that Miami's going to end it. I think in 5 or 6, I would go Martin. I think, like you said, that's good value. And, Jimmy Butler's not taking a bunch of threes. So I think you have a bit of safety there with the Heat. I think if you think it's going to go longer, I think that White could be a good play.
Yeah, so there's 4 guys that have 9 or more. So Jason Tatum is at plus 320 at 9. And then Gabe Vincent has 11. So he's 1 back. Obviously, he turned his ankle. Not sure about him, but he's at a plus 310 on DraftKings. Those 4 are the only ones in the running. The next person, I think it was Max Strus. He's right now currently at a plus 2,200. So you're talking about just these 4 guys. So I saw that line, and I thought that was interesting. Another one. So we talked about Caleb Martin before. So Caleb Martin hit these 2. Right, and then he had the 4, 3. Let's break it back into the last 5 so we can go this series. You know what? I'll go the last 10. I think that's more interesting. This guy, a head-to-head on DraftKings, you can go and get a money line favorite to have Caleb Martin more 3-pointers than Al Horford. Al Horford is a money line at minus 110. Caleb Martin's minus 120. I don't know if you like those odds. I see Big Al has hit 2 and 3. But potentially, I think I like Martin there because I feel like Al Horford, just as you can see in these other 2 games when he's at home, he did not shoot well. So
I wouldn't put money behind Al out shooting him, Martin for sure. That's interesting that he'd be a favorite in that.
Yeah. Well, no, Caleb Martin's minus 120, so he's the favorite. But still, they're
but close enough.
Very close. Yeah, it's very close. So I thought those were interesting little tidbits I found on DraftKings. But all right, anybody you want to look at, we can kind of go through this and kind of look at some of the players and see what we're looking at. And as we're recording this, Chase, I don't know if you know this, but you could actually go to a full screen, so you can actually see it better. Kind of like the people will be when they're watching it, because it's kind of smaller on our screen as you're currently looking. But yeah, anybody that you want to hit on, any players that you're looking at as we just got breaking news: the Panthers sweep the Canes. Is that correct?
Yep, they did, which is crazy to think about. That just sweeps. I mean, Miami, City of Champions, apparently.
Exactly. All right. Anybody want to look at?
I look at Jason Tatum rebounds. That's something that he's been rebounding the ball like crazy recently. I don't know what it is about his double doubles, rebounds. Like, I guess it's just because Robert Williams isn't playing as much, and Al Horford just doesn't get rebounds. So Tatum is the main rebounder on the team, but I'm interested to see where that line's at, because I mean, during the regular season or towards the end of the regular season, early playoffs, you saw it at like 8.5, 9.5. Looks like now it's at 10.5. So he's gotten double digits in 4 of the last 5 games, dating back to that last game in Philly. He's gotten that in 10.5 though is tough.
It's huge number. It's a stay away for me because then, okay, I can even go look at Miami and how he's done against them on the season, right? So I look at this whole season. He rebounds well. He's averaging 10.4, but that is tough.
That's just very tight too, right? He's right on that line the whole time.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting. I mean, obviously you don't see forwards normally, like, not big men, I guess you could say, with the line like that, but he is grabbing the majority of them.
A little teaching moment. Let's go to this. Where is it? All right, here it is. All right, so if you want to break it down, you can. This is how I live bet, and this is kind of what I look at when I'm live betting. I kind of pick out a prop that I like, but it's a little too high, a little too juicy. So at this point, it's a little too high, a little too juicy at 10.5 minus 130. I'm going to look at the first half. How has Jason Tatum looked in the first half? Okay, he's got a 5.5 number that's actually out somewhere. And so you can look at these lines in general. Let's go to the last 10. So you're looking at, so it looks like he's a pretty good rebounder in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want to go down now, break it down to the second half. So I wonder what kind of, did it move? Yep, there it is. What kind of rebounder is he in the second half? If you see these numbers are worse in the second half, much worse for the most part. So you're talking about splitting that. He's a much better rebounder in the first half. So if you aren't getting that number you like, it's probably going to go way up, right? And so at that point, you could possibly play an under on this situation. If you want to break it down even more, I would even go to the first quarter. And at that point, first quarter, I'm looking at how well has he done. This is actually a bet you could do on DraftKings. I know just because I've seen them, but you can go ahead and go over 3.5 or minus 127 in the first quarter rebounds. He's hit it in 3 or 4 games. There's possibility. You go look at him on the year. Mainly, it's just been the playoffs when he's really done it. He's been much more active. You look at the Philadelphia series, he was active the last 2 games. So maybe that's what you're looking at. And also go look at the second quarter because he is playing more minutes now. So this should go up. But the second quarter, he hasn't just been killing it, but, these 2 games. So his numbers are kind of all over the board a little bit. I would imagine the fourth quarter, you're probably not going to see, he's not rebounding the ball at all. So if you're looking,
the fourth quarter in general for everything for him, I mean, he scored a crazy thing. They said he scored his first points of the series, first field goal of the series in that game 4 in the fourth quarter. So that was the first time all series that he scored a field goal in the fourth quarter was in game 4, which is just crazy.
Wow. Yeah, let's go look at that fourth quarter real quick. So these are his points. And so if you go look at that, look at these numbers. They're just really low. Except for this last game. Obviously, he went off. But this one game where he had nothing, he sat the whole game there at the game. Was it game 3?
Yeah, they were getting blown out so bad.
So this is something to look at. So if you are somebody who likes his rebounds, right, and you can't catch the number that you like, and you're like, hey, I still want to hit that. That number. You know what I'm looking at is the fourth quarter. If he's at 7 or 8 and he needs to get to 10.5, I'm probably going to bet the under. Just from looking at these numbers, because in general, it's been under against them. The last 10, he's been under this. You're talking about all the year, he's 13% on just 3.5, right? We're talking about 3.5. I know it's a big number, but you can even bring that down to 2.5. And you're looking at 29% still. So he's not been a big rebounder on the season there in the fourth quarter. And I know that does play in the fact of, some blowouts too. So just something to look at. All right. Anybody else you want to look at? I just thought we'd want to introduce a little bit of this today because I thought it'd be important for people to see and kind of, maybe if they like props.cash, just looking at how to think about betting in a different way.
Yeah, for sure. I would stand away from anything Jaylen Brown. I've learned my lesson there. Jimmy Butler. What's Jimmy Butler assists? That's one that always interests me because it's usually a bit higher than you would normally see it at. Normally at 5.5.
There it is.
5.5. Yep. Interested to see what he's been. Okay.
Yeah. So you look at there. I'm going to go to Boston. Look at them. Okay. So he's pretty much average, right?
So if they win, he's going to get over that line pretty much. Looks like.
Yeah. It's still a tight window as well. I wonder if he's a first half passer because now they're playing more minutes, right?
Yeah.
And so it's right on that number of 3. So he's pretty much, there's nothing special that he's doing in one quarter over the other. This might be something you're interested in as playing the over. That's a -148, though. That's almost impossible to play. There's nothing second quarter. He's just, I don't know. This would be something I would for sure stay away from. But I think with a line like this, you might be able to catch it come down to over 5.5 -110 in the first few minutes of a game if he doesn't actually have a assist. And that's that's one way I've done it, like such as Derek White. For example, on his let's go his 3-pointers real quick. So on 3-pointers, I'm looking at him. I'm like, all right, it's -1. I mean, it's +120, +1, 130, whatever it's been. I like that for in general, but if you also look at his first quarter, I'm wondering what his first quarter number is. See, he's hitting 1, right?
Yeah.
So he is hitting those, but you might be able to catch that number and get it even better when he comes in the game, because he's been starting now. But as he comes in the game, you're able to maybe wait a second, and then catch a better number.
Yeah.
That's just playing the system.
Yeah.
That's nothing fancy, nothing crazy that we're doing. But it might be something that you're like, hey, I want to see if I can get some more out of that and see if I can pump that number up even more. So that's something to watch as well. Another guy I'm looking at is his rebounds is Kevin Love. He's been under this number. It's a -135. But something else that they're kind of going away from him as well. And so you're talking about
minutes thing, I think.
Yep. You're talking about assist as well. He's been under this. It's for 1 assist, +114.
That's the other thing is like he's going to play. So with the assist that low, it's tough. But he doesn't play much. He'll start and then basically be done after that.
Yeah. Well, I think since Boston's kind of started playing a little bit better, these last 2 games, they've went away from him. If you see that. And so that might be the only problem is it's still juiced. And so it's tough. These lines are very tough. Something I will show you, if you want to go, let's say we want to go under the line, you can go push the under button and come up here to this ticket next to my picture, and it'll show you who's got these numbers a little bit. It will tell you a little bit of what the odds should be is +233. That kind of is skewed now that we're in the playoffs, so don't pay too much attention to that. But you can see it's Caesars or MGM. You can find these best numbers, but always highlights or grays the best number, the best book. So
good tool, give you at least, I mean, I wouldn't say an edge, but at least put you closer to even with the books, with the way it goes.
Yeah. All right. Something else I'm going to look at as well. I know we talked about the no run first inning. I forgot to do that a few times, but you can see this as well. It tells you the pitchers, the number, and how well they've done. I think this is last year. Yeah. So let's go this year. They've had enough starts now. So you look at these numbers as well, and then it'll come over here and it'll tell you the implied odds, and then also give you the odds as well. So if, we could actually look at this and see how well it did today, and see did this 80% hit, and you can start just using these numbers before they go away for the day, because most of these games are done, especially out of the first inning, and see if we bet all these 70+%. I wonder how well we did done. So I'll look at that, kind of report back, but. That's something that I like doing. Last thing, and I'll show you, and then we'll kind of hit on some of our best bets and our official plays, and we'll get out of here. But what I'm looking at as well is players and hits. Baseball is very much a manic sport where you kind of find your honey hole and you go with that. So I'm going to look at streaks a lot of times. And this is just hits. So Nolan Gorman is just killing the ball right now, right? So I'm going over here. I'm looking. So he's obviously done well versus Cincinnati. Does that matter? Sometimes it does, especially late in the season. I'm going to look at that number more. But I'm going to go to the last 10 games, and obviously he has a 10-game hit streak. Let's go to the full games. He's hit in 73%. So he had a big break here, but once he got back going, he started going again. The other thing I'm going to look at, and this is normally it will tell you a stat here, but that game, or this guy might be brand new, Ben Lively, whoever that is. But what I'm going to look at is how does he hit against right-handed pitchers? His batting average is 296. I just need to make sure he gets a hit, right? That's the number I care about. And then the 267. So he hits a little bit better against righties. But I'm also going to look over here too is this. And that home run number that we see, that's really what I care about if I'm looking at a home run prop, or if I'm looking at hits, runs, and RBIs. Like how is he doing? Is he getting, when he hits, is he going for a double? Is he going for a home run? You can also compare it to 2022. How did he look? He's only hitting home runs against right-handed pitchers. So if it's a lefty, he might still hit okay. 211 is not great at all, but this season he is hitting 267, but he didn't hit a home run off of them last year, and he's hit 2. So that number isn't going to be crazy high, but also 2-19 isn't a terrible number as well. So that's something to look at. So many things to look at, so many different attributes to kind of go for. But I think it's always important to kind of dig around this app. And if you have any questions for anybody, please let us know. But I think that's, that app, props.cash, you can put in the promo code Bluff City Bets, and we'll make sure we save you some money. Save you some money. Whoops. All right. Sorry, I had to check the time. I couldn't see it. All right, let's get back to us, and we'll go ahead and give our official plays unless you have anything else about what you might be looking at to play.
No, I think that's it. I'm sweating out. I say I wasn't sweating anything tonight, but I have the Angels pitcher to go under 4.5 strikeouts. So I'm trying to see if he's playing in this 6th inning or not. See if he's going out there. But,
I like it.
No, I think I'm good for the official play. What on the year? We're 3-1 as a podcast on the official plays.
Yep, 3-1. I think you're 2-0. Yeah, so I got to catch up.
We're getting there. I have a plus money play today or tomorrow. So we'll see if streak may end there, but hopefully.
All right, let's go ahead and go into it right now. What are you playing on your official play? I know it's an early game. I know it's soccer. Go ahead and give it to us.
Yeah, so it's soccer. It is an early game, so that's the only thing is that by the time that people may be listening to this, they may be able to just go Google it and see if I'm right or wrong, or we'll put it on Twitter like we said. So hopefully if you're following on the Twitter or the Discord, you'll see it early. But it is going to be under 2.5 goals in the Chelsea versus Manchester United game tomorrow, 2:00 Central Time kickoff. Second to last game of the season. At this point, Chelsea's season has been over for majority. I'm a Chelsea fan, so it's been a rough season, but they've been done for majority of the season already. Man United, on the other hand, they're playing to secure a Champions League spot, but this has not gone over in the last 5 games that these two teams have played. They tie 1-1 or 0-0 in every time that these two match up in the last 5. Chelsea held Manchester City, who just won the Premier League, to 1 goal last week. Obviously, the players are probably still hungover from celebrating winning the league, so take that what you will. But Chelsea are 17th in goals scored, so you're not going to get goals from Chelsea all year. That's been the biggest problem with this team is the fact that they can't score goals. But they are 4th in goals conceded, so they're very good defensively. Don't let up many goals. So I like Chelsea to keep Manchester United from scoring. And then on the other end, Manchester United has kept the most clean sheets in the league. So you're getting a team that doesn't score against one of the best defenses in the league. And I just think under 2.5 at plus 130 is great odds. So that's what we're going to be going with for our official play.
I like it. Anything scary about the last game of the year, one of the last games where they're just like don't care, so they're just kind of all just running around going crazy?
Yeah, I thought that, but I think sometimes it's almost like that means they're not even going to try to score rather than like the defense opening up kind of thing. I think that the attack just almost goes through the motions and they aren't as creative. They don't create as many chances, so you're getting less chances when normally you think if these guys aren't trying, you're going to get more. So I actually like it more that the season's almost over.
Okay. So some things I've played, I kind of want to get those out a little bit. And these are golf bets. But these are some that I'm just going to go through real fast. If you want to write them down, stop the podcast, pause podcast, whatever. If you're on YouTube, pause it. But these should all be happening pretty fast. But these are guys I like. Is Justin Rose in the Charles Schwab Challenge tournament, the golf tournament this week. Justin Rose over Russell Henley. I have that as a tournament match bet. And then the other ones I have are Seabaz, which is Christian Benzudenhout, whatever. I can't. Seabaz is what his name is. I have him in this. I have him over Brendan Todd. Joseph Bramlett, top 40, Seabaz, top 40, and then Hayden Buckley, top 40. And so those are some that will be in the Discord. I'm going to put them in there, but that does go very early in the morning on Thursday, so we don't have enough time. So if you do want to play golf, I will have those. I'll try to put those out as much as I can, especially in the Discord channel. But my official play, we're going back to the well. Somebody I bet on way too much. Somebody I've won way too much. Is Caleb Martin over 12.5 points for -110. Like, he's crushing it. He's hit every single game. I just can't not bet this.
As I said earlier, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And
Yeah.
with him, I mean, there's so much pressure on Jimmy Butler that's why these guys get so many opportunities. And he's been one of the best, if not the best, role player all playoffs for the Heat. So, I mean, at 12.5, I think you're still getting a good line. But yeah, I mean, Caleb Martin, take us to the bank. We've been doing.
I'm looking at his 3-pointers to hit 2 or more. It's -154. I'm kind of going to stay away from that. I probably will go Derek White, that plus money. I might wait, though, because we'll kind of see how it goes and see if I can get a little bit more out of that. But something else I'm going to try to find if I can. I haven't seen it yet. Here it is. Caleb Martin, 3 plus 3-pointers is +240. He's hit that in 3 of the 4 games. Last game he didn't. He really had a chance too. So I'm going to go back and say a +240 for Caleb Martin. I'm going to take a swing at that because 3 plus 3-pointers is crazy. And if you really want to get crazy, I know that Derek White hasn't done it yet, but Derek White to hit 4 plus 3-pointers is a +360. So listen, there's a lot of juice. These guys are just throwing shots up right now. Especially in a game that they both want to win, and in a game where the Boston Celtics know that if they shoot well and they shoot and make these 3-pointers, they will win this game. That's what they did last game. They shot well and they won. So they're going to be shooting. I think they're going to shoot a lot. So we'll see, but that might be 2 little sprinkles I do. When I say sprinkle, move your unit size down. So if your unit size, let's say your unit size is $50, okay? Move it down to $10. If your unit size is $25, move it down to like 8 or 7, 6. You can be 10. I get 25 to 10 isn't as big of a 50 to 10, but still, it's $10. You might still win a good enough amount to be able to make some cash on that. So whatever you have to do, move your unit size down. Whatever, there's no special unit size. I will always say that people can be $1,000 unit. You can be $100 unit. You could be $20 units. Whatever your unit size is, stick to it and don't change. I've seen it and I've done it myself. I will put too many units on dumb bets. I'm like, why did I do that?
Not fun. You got to stick with the script.
Yeah, 100%. Anything else you got before we get out of here?
No, I think that's it. Hopefully this guy gets subbed. He's through 6 innings. He has three strikeouts. It's over or under 4.5. So I've never seen him play more than 6 innings. So I think we're going to.
What's his pitch count?
102.
Oh, he's out.
You think
Done.
so? Cool.
Done. Guarantee.
So a live cash on the podcast. Knock on wood.
All right, that's all we have. We're going to be back again, but make sure you check out our Twitter account at Bluff City Bets. Make sure if you're not a Discord member, go ahead and become an insider with us and cash shows with us as well during the week. But that's all we have. Let's have a great week and let's cash.
Thank you for listening to Bluff City Bets. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of all things Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.